St. Lucia, this is the Open Mic, and we're now back to the second segment of our program. When I left off, I was highlighting the gray areas of our financial business, which is presently at stake. And hopefully that the Caribbean region can get together, and the prime ministers in particular need to hold an urgent meeting to deal with this situation, because just like the banana industry, I know they did try their best, but I don't think we tried hard enough, because I distinctly recall when President Clinton came to St. Lucia, I had the opportunity of meeting him on a one-to-one basis, and when I indicated to him how disastrous it was when we lost the banana trade, he was shocked to find out, and I told him, I asked him, should I say directly, what was his reason, and he was quite open. He said that Chiquita and Dole were big contributors to the political arena, both for the Republicans and the Democrats. And strangely enough, he indicated to me that a total of $70 million was sent in to both parties over the years. And I told him that we, as a small country, could have actually, should I say, injected at least $100 million US dollars into the political arena through a lobbyist. But of course, it's too late now. But these are the areas, once bitten, twice shy, and we have to concentrate on these areas. We cannot allow all these industries to slip through our fingers. Denise, what is your take on all of that?
But the main thing about this Nevada offshore banking that is they're now thinking of bringing on and taking funds, or a lot of funds are coming. It is the confidentiality that it gives those people that, in other words, they cannot be touched.
Yeah.
And that for me is strange when you think that America, who patrols the world as far as offshore banking, money laundering and things is concerned, is the same one now that is
offering that facility.
Offering a facility like that in Nevada.
Within their borders.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
and the problem here is that if you realize, Bermuda went off a little bit of tourism as its main service
industry
to go into the financial sector, so to speak. And now you're finding that they're going to squeeze them somewhat, the same as the Bahamas and other countries.
And
I think it's wrong.
It's worrying because, you know, I distinctly recall when I was talking to President Clinton that we are a small nation, and when you keep denuding us of these facilities, it will leave us with no alternative but to act otherwise. And you know, when you see, for instance, today, take the marijuana trade, for instance, you know, America has decried it for years and years, and look, within their own borders now, they're doing what they have to do. Canada's doing, and St. Vincent, as you all know, is going ahead with this thing. Now, it's just a question of time. Two things can happen. We can either be penalized if we do it, or they themselves will set up new facilities so they can produce a better kind of marijuana than us. So what does it leave us with? A hungry man is an angry man. And it is a terrible situation when everything we try, we start it off and you take it away from us. We are in the backyard of America. And I wonder which they will ever understand what's going on.
But you know, sometimes with all of this, Michael, what I've always said is that a lot of the problems we are seeing is our fault also. And I'll tell you why. Because of our educational system, especially in St. Lucia. We have an educational system that is one track. One track, it means that academics.
I know.
We must have the technological track, and this is where the Taiwanese come in, where our youngsters can be trained in new technology and things of that sort. And at the end of the day, if you have a skillful workforce, you will get the investors to come.
There's no question about it.
And not only that, if your wage bill is not as high as one would think, then they would come, because that's what it's all about, competition. We have to be competitive.
You know,
and I don't think our governments have looked at that at all.
You have been so closely knit to the Taiwan. You know more about than anybody else.
Yes.
And you know, when I just think back of the two areas that Taiwan started here, one with the orchids,
Yes.
and two with the tilapia.
Yeah.
You know, it is heartbreaking that
Yeah.
after 10 or 12 years,
Yeah.
when a system so easy to work, that it has not been developed. And yet there's a gentleman in Beauce-Saint-Jean-du-Fort, he's one of the few people, I forgot his name, who developed it up and is making a fortune.
But there's one just up Bexon, above Bexon,
And
at the
that's
back,
doing
and
all-
she's doing extremely
Yeah.
well.
You
She
see-
went off bananas into
Yeah.
tilapia.
And look at the orchids. I went a couple months ago to Union and I was shocked to see the condition. And when I asked why, I found out that had been handed back to the Ministry of Agriculture.
Exactly.
But anyway, I think the Taiwan are taking it
They've
back.
now taken it back on
I mean,
stream.
this is unbelievable. The people have been here for years. This idea of just looking for to get a check from the people all the time. The check finishes in no time. But if those monies were diverted to, as you said, to vocational
skills, yeah.
we could be a lot better off. Because having written my book and had a couple of shows on television and radio, I keep saying to St. Lucians all the time, hard work and discipline and love for what you do will get you there. I mean, as I highlighted, I was born in St. Lucia. I had no great skills that I went to any vocational school. But on my own, I was fortunate and I found a niche market for myself in the shipping business. But, I taught myself. I worked hard. And I'm saying to many St. Lucians today, it can be done. Nobody owes you a living.
But Michael, who taught J.Q. Charles? Who taught Val Moore? Who taught all of those who were entrepreneurs in this country? They were hard workers too.
That's right.
But they had that tenacity. They had the entrepreneur. They were innovative and creative, just like you. Yeah. And I think that is what we are lacking today.
Yeah. But I think, Denise, just like I went to school, and I've always said, I was not a great student. I distinctly remember going to school with people like George Odlum and so forth, who would just read a book once and they could remember everything. So it's the same thing in business. Not everybody would probably be as fortunate as myself and the JQs and the
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say, if you give young people a base to start to work, because when we as business people develop businesses, like for instance, only this week I put out an ad to get a young technician to come and service all the automatic doors at our hotels, at the supermarkets, because these things break down. Now there are bright boys there who these things come naturally to them. So I'm saying to St. Lucia, please look at these opportunities. When one builds a hotel, you need carpenters, you need masons, you need what you call
plumbers,
IT boys,
Yes.
what you call people to look after the pool.
Yeah.
And these are little skills that people automatically are born with. And I wouldn't know it if they don't come forward. Exactly. So what they should do, I'm even proposing that, that a leading business person could have, like, say, once a week, a little seminar somewhere for 30 or 40 people to come, identify your own skills, come and offer it there, and we can channel it through. Like the SLHT is doing a good job. And then all these hotels that are on the island, all kind of, you have the people playing the music and all these kind of things. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
So anyway, that having been said, there are a couple areas which I want to focus on today of individuals who I have known. For me, again, I was very fortunate in meeting people slightly older than them, better educated than them, people like Sir Vincent Flosack, who I've known for years, and I made it my duty to visit them on a regular basis so I could learn certain things in life. Now,
you took the Bible at its best.
Yeah.
This idea of wisdom.
Yes.
If you see wisdom, go and sit outside the door and try and get as much of that wisdom as possible.
Yeah.
Don't let it go.
Yeah.
And I think that is what you did in those years.
And even like now, for instance, I have a very good relationship with a young guy called Rory McNamara.
Yeah.
Jeffrey DeBolle. These are young lawyers.
Yes,
probably
correct.
40, 50 years younger than me.
Yes,
40
yes,
years
I
younger.
know, I know.
But I find these guys interesting.
Yes.
They're young guys who I can talk to on a one-to-one basis for several
yes.
hours. You know, very recently I was invited to dinner, for instance, at Dr. Charlie Greenwich's home.
Right.
He's married to Amanda, sister to Dr. King, and they had two daughters, I think 18 and 20. And, you know, I was amazed at the little dinner we had, talking to those young girls, how interested they were and how focused on what I was saying and the questions that they asked, you know. Mm-hmm. So there are young people here. Of course, it goes back to the family upbringing, and as I told Mr. and Mrs. Charlie Greenwich, they must have done a wonderful job on their children to get them today, because, you know, when you go to many people's home, they don't even talk to you. They have a little tablet in their hand.
Yes, yes, quite,
and it is so annoying because I can't concentrate or say anything to them. Some of them come to my home and they're not hearing 3/4 of what I'm saying.
Yes,
but
quite.
So the parents have a responsibility towards their children. So what was quite interesting is that just recently the owner of Windjammer, who is a lady called Joan Smith, who comes down here regularly to St. Lucia, had a mishap at her hotel where she had a fall and developed some head injuries and had to be taken back to her home in Canada. Subsequently passed away. And I went to a memorial service last week given by the manager of the hotel, and it was quite impressive. Impressive in that it's a small gathering, maybe of 70 people. Many of them were guests and the staff, and a few people from outside. And at the end of the service, the manager asked if anyone would like to make a contribution to the family. And I said I would, and I thought maybe I would just go for 2 to 3 minutes and say how fortunate I am to be here today. Unfortunate in the sense that the lady has passed, but fortunate to see. And then all of a sudden, I started to recollect my thoughts. And I spoke for almost 15 to 20 minutes, saying things that I completely forgotten, because Windjammer, when they first came to the center, I played a very important part in getting them to stay in St. Lucia, because Windjammer first started as a result of 3 or 4 villas to be built, and when they didn't sell, the young gentleman, Mr. David Cram, who was there, built a couple more, and that's how Windjammer developed. But you know, over the years, when I thought of it, of all the problems that Mr. Don Smith encountered, and he still stayed in St. Lucia. The first problem he had, the planning department would not give him permission. They hounded the guy down. Okay, he finally got over. John Compton had to intervene. As a matter of fact, Lady Janice did speak after me, and she highlighted that part, which I had actually forgotten, but of all the problems that they had and what they had done. Then, of course, you had the, today, they had slippages at the hotel, where a couple houses, villas moved as a result of the location. And thirdly, that Mr. Don's, well, Ellis Don, they built the NIS building, which is a beautiful building. They built the Slasper building, and they also built a number of homes at Carriel. And again, it was an amazing situation, because when these homes were finished, I think it's a total investment of from $5 million, which the Smith family had actually invested, and that was under the Compton regime.
You'd call her Mrs. Smith. I used to call her Mrs. Cram.
Well, no, Mrs. Cram was the daughter.
The daughter?
That's the mother, Don Smith. And what happened was, when the houses were finished, the St. Lucia Labour Party got into power and refused to pay them the $5 million that they spent for whatever reason, I don't know, I guess politics. And I distinctly remember them taking Sir Vincent Flosac, and the matter went to court. And then the government had to pay the people for it. And you know, there is an investor who's been so good to St. Lucia. And we lose sight of the fact that we have to help those people. We have to put our best foot forward, because people like the Smiths and the Ellis Dons of this world, they have a lot of pull. For For instance, when the lady died, I understand, and they had the funeral, most of the government buildings were half-staffed in Canada. St. Lucia, this is Open Mic, and we have now come to the end of the second segment of our program. We'll be right back.